Division 2 from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Bertz, you haven't slept since we got code in here?
No, I've been just like
4 hours
injecting it
sleep?
straight into my veins.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've shot a lot of baddies over the last 25 hours.
Okay, so we've been playing for a couple days, you guys have, but far from the review era. This is kind of early-ish impressions, even though, like, how many hours do you think you guys have put in at this point?
I'm in the 25-hour range,
All
I
right.
think. I started like Monday evening, and I've been
Sure.
powering through as much as I can.
Okay, Reiner, how you doing?
Good. I'm probably 10 hours in, 8 to 10 hours. But I wish I was playing more. Like, I can't stop thinking about it.
Ooh, Jeffem?
Yeah, I'm probably in the 8 range.
Okay, perfect. The escalating scale. Bertz, how is it so far?
It leaves a very favorable first impression, I will say that.
25 hours of favorability.
Yes, I mean I'm having a good time. It scales really well. So we have a crew that's playing with me, Miller, JV, and Jeff. Am I riding shotgun on the review? But they're not always available because they have jobs to do and lives to live.
Ew.
So I'm playing some solo stuff, but then I'm having them jump into a mission mid-mission sometimes. And the scalability of it's really good. You can play this game solo if you want through the campaign, but it does a good job of knowing how many baddies to throw at you in any given situation.
And you aren't running into that problem. Sorry to immediately bring up Anthem, but it's going to come up at some point.
Hey,
but
as
you're-
someone that played Anthem and Fallout 76 at launch,
Yeah.
this game is a real treat. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Brick S House, some would say.
It works.
Well, not the public launch yet. There might be some falters
Well,
there. but
it officially comes out tomorrow.
Right.
So we'll see what happens when people start hitting the servers hard. But the hardcores have already been there. They bought the $110 Uber edition
Yeah,
that
there's
gave them
like-
early
Wait,
access.
and Ubisoft didn't punish people who were playing their game early for more money? I don't understand this concept in the video game industry.
Right now, it seems like it's roaring. Like,
Oh, great.
and this is their second chance, right? Like their
Yeah.
second time doing this type of game, and hopefully they learned a lot from the first one.
And
Yeah.
beyond just like not having server issues, it doesn't feel like we're, hanging our hopes on a promise of what this game is going to be. I think this is the one live service game I've played where it is already a good to very good game that I'm enjoying now.
Oh, good.
And so like I can look forward to them adding more stuff, but I'm not. We don't have to sit here and say, it could be a good game. Like, if they keep on adding to it, it's going to get there.
Please don't give
Like,
up on it, Ubisoft.
It's already
Yeah.
there,
But what I was going to ask you is, like, jumping into missions, you don't feel like it's crappy to have, like, story moments spoiled or anything like that?
No, because the story is not that huge of a component to it.
Yeah, I mean, there is a story there. There's, a codex with lore about characters. But, I mean, this is really a game where it's an ABCs like Destiny. Destiny, sure, there's crap you can learn. But really, you're just a zombie Russian shooting space baddies, right?
Yeah.
In this game, you're just a guy from somewhere in America shooting, American baddies. And that's...
So it's just like different factions in the post-apocalyptic
Yep.
world.
Yeah.
That's all that's going on here.
Yeah, and I guess maybe just because by virtue of not being a sci-fi game, there's just not as much lingo and it feels like, as opposed to Anthem and Destiny, they know that that's what their story is, and they're not trying to convolute it with a bunch of other things. And I think that's where Destiny and Anthem fall apart for me, is they're trying to tell these stories, but you're jumping in and out of missions, and you're kind of all over the timeline. And you're like, wait, who are these guys again? And here, they're bad guys. You're trying to take back a city from them.
They might have a missile. Maybe you should prevent them from using it. Like
Just very Tom
the
Clancy
ABCs
stuff.
of Tom Clancy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then what about, like, the actual gameplay design in the missions? Is it a lot of rinse and repeat of go here, shoot the bad guys, mission over?
Yeah, but the level designs are really good. Like there were levels that were really memorable in the first game, like going through Madison Square Garden. They're doing a lot of that. I feel like I'm a tourist with a gun in this game. I've been to so many museums. I've been all over Washington, D.C. Like, I'm going through. I was like, oh, this is what the Vietnam exhibit looks like in this history museum. Shooting baddies. I'm in a planetarium. This is a cool light show.
I
shooting
love
baddies.
that. Is it, like, opening up on the mall then? Or where does the game start?
It starts on the White House lawn.
And
the White House is your base of operations.
Yes! I can explore the White House?
You can.
Finally.
And
Awesome.
The amount of detail in this game, like anywhere. Like if you're looking at a pile of trash, it's like, oh my God, the artist went nuts on that trash. But seriously, like you go into the White House, you're like, wow, look at all this detail. Any place you go to is just loaded with cool things to look at, unique geometry. Like it's impressive from a visual standpoint.
All right, this is very superficial. It's not a make or break for me. But can you, like, upgrade the White House since it's your base? Are you like leveling up
Base of
your home
operations, you're gathering people that, create new wings of the base of operation. Just kind of
Okay.
like the first game, it works a little bit differently, but it's tied more to the settlements, which I feel like
The
is
safe houses, yeah.
the settlements is like a new thing in the division. It's, there's actually civilians that are trying to like regroup and, get their feet on their ground and, like have food and water and things people need.
Yeah.
So there's a place where there's civilians now that are not just like randomly roaming the streets like the first game.
Okay.
And it gives you a nice compulsion loop to help the people and build, because you see their base grow too as your base of operation grows. And as they grow, you take experts from there and they bring them into the White House.
Did you guys all play Division 1 at launch, or did you play it after
Yep.
kind of the revamp?
I reviewed it and I played everything, like all the
Okay.
content. So
Yeah, I played at launch.
Okay. Does it feel pretty consistent, like with where Division 1 quality-wise left off? Because it seems like by the end of that game's life, and I know it's still going on, but everyone was like, okay, it's at a great place. The community seems happy, or content enough at least, as an online community can get. Does it feel just like a natural transition, or does this feel like a radical departure in a lot of ways?
No, it feels like a well-worn glove
Yeah.
so far, and I think that's a smart move by them. They're really focused on Endgame, and I'm not at Endgame. I can't talk about that yet, but I mean, everything works as you expect it to work. The loot system is really well defined. You're getting random cool stuff all the time. Maybe not the stuff you want, but when you get something you want that's not a goddamn Uzi,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Those Uzis.
Yeah, just get them out of the goddamn game. They're worthless.
Yeah, just doing some research on the game, I went to their official website, and there's a tab for Endgame, and I was like, that's great messaging out of the gates. Like,
Yeah.
And that's something like, Anthem and Fallout both struggled with, and the Division 1, was the Dark Zone had issues, stuff like that, and it seems like they made that a central focus. But there's also a 40-hour campaign you got to go through before you get to that stuff.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff just beyond like the main missions and side missions and, different checkpoint or, control points and all these kind of things. I was really
Multiple
surprised by.
progression paths.
Yeah.
You have your regular progression, you have your Dark Zone progression, your conflict, which is the PvP progression,
Ooh.
your clan progression. There's all sorts of stuff. Like there's
It's a mess of menus at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
It is
"Whoa,
overwhelming
I
at
don't
the
know what
beginning.
all this stuff means. But they do a good job of explaining it and kind of introducing it at kind of a slow drip as you're going through it, so you're not overwhelmed necessarily. But there's things in that game I'm really curious about that I haven't gone into. Like, there's the PvP element outside of the Dark Zones too, that you said has its own path as well.
yeah, conflict has its own progression as well.
How does it seem so far?
I haven't played conflict yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting. That's more of an end game thing. You can do it right
Get your
now,
gear,
but
yeah.
I'd rather do it when the gear normalizes, so I guess you could go in right now, but that feels more like a treat at the end of the campaign. I'm
Right.
focused on campaign right now.
And Dark Zone stuff, has anybody dove into that?
Yeah, it's a lot. You don't have to be scared of it right away. They let you
Okay.
go in and do a mission where you get to learn your bearings. There aren't other players in it. You can kind of get the lay of the land, and each Dark Zone will have an introductory mission for it. And then once you feel like you understand the parameters, next time you go in, it'll be like the classic Dark Zone.
And there's
And-
3 Dark Zones now.
Yep.
And a roaming Dark Zone?
No, 3 Dark Zones, but one of them in Endgame only will have free for all kind of.
Uh-huh.
The weapon normalization's done. You can't tell what if a guy is like a wanted person or not. All that will be off the table, and it's just like the Thunderdome.
Gotcha. Can you, just zoom out and say what the Dark Zone is? It's been a while since people learned about it with Division 1.
Well, there's 3 different designs. One's for close quarters. I don't know if that's like they're like different quadrants, like east, west, and south,
Yep.
something like that. And then one is longer range, and I don't remember what the third
Yeah,
one
they
is.
kind of design them for certain type of play styles. But basically, it's a player versus environment versus player space where you can engage other players if you want. There's a loop there that if you want to play that way, you can actually avoid them. You can kind of loot the area, kill the baddies at certain landmarks, and then you have to ring the dinner bell and like light the
Shoot a
flash
flare or
gun,
whatever?
the
Oh,
flare
okay.
gun. Yeah, and then everybody knows you're doing it, so you just hope.
They can come get your loot then,
Yeah.
like take you out.
and only
become-
one person can get the loot and get out of there?
No, everybody has a bag of stuff, and you can attach it to it. It'll take it out.
Okay.
And the worst feeling in the world in the last one was I spent all this time in this area. I got this cool weapon. I went there, and these guys who were more overpowered than me just took it and ran. That can still happen in this game, but there are weapons that you'll recover in the Dark Zone that you get to keep regardless as well now.
That's a cool idea.
Okay. Jeff, and what's the most fun you've had playing this game so far?
Probably the main missions, I think, and just the gameplay of it is really good, and it's not ultimately that different from other types of these games like Anthem, where you're going into a place and they're throwing a lot of guys at you, but it doesn't feel as rote and as repetitive as the other games have. I still look forward to every mission that I do, and I think just the core gameplay and the AI of the enemies is good enough that you can't, it doesn't get boring while you're there.
Okay.
And so you're constantly looking for guys who are flanking you. You constantly have to communicate with your team and kind of coordinate your abilities and stuff to get through it. And so that has stayed entertaining.
There's nothing better than having like 3 guys with turrets, place them perfectly, and you can kind of sit back and watch your handiwork as they eviscerate everybody.
Jeff, it's weird because it seems like you wrote Funny to a Point, which is your little comedy column on GameInformer.com. But you wrote one not too long ago about like, hey, I'm still having a good time with Anthem.
Yeah.
Despite all the problems it has.
Yes, and so that was it. That was the treat of this game is I can enjoy it and I don't have to look over a bunch of caveats, and like all the problems that Anthem had with it.
Right.
Too.
Because it's like getting to the combat is fun in Anthem, and then the combat itself, it's flashy, but not that strategic for the main story at least.
Yeah.
And then this, it feels like it's maybe the opposite.
Yeah, and it just kind of embraces freedom of exploration too. There's a lot of secret stuff you can find, those echoes and tape recorders, and just get more, data on what's going on in the world and what happened to people. It's cool.
I'm excited about this game, and it's always tempting to use yourself as the perfect test case, but it's like the amount of goodwill by the end of Division 1's life, and then like seems like good first impressions for Division 2. Like, I think a lot of people are going to try this thing, maybe for the first time.
I'm loving it. Like I think it's really, really impressive. But I also suffered through Fallout and
That's true. This is what a good game looks like. Right?
The skies have cleared for Ryan.
Bert, you have a crazy schedule trying to review this thing.
Oh, yeah.
This feels like another Red Dead 2 where you just have to marathon this thing.
Yeah, and I have a deadline that is not moving. I have to get on a plane to go to GDC on Sunday. So,
ooh, that's a good reminder.
It's
yeah,
on.
Next week I'll be at GDC all week, which should be exciting. Hopefully, we'll learn a lot there. But next week's podcast might be funky. It's either going to be something back home pieced together with something in GDC, or all GDC, or all home. But it could be a weird one.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. I'm excited about it being some weird patchwork thing that we just stitched together, so it should be a funky one. But anything else about Division 2 we didn't hit on?
Again, it comes out tomorrow. Yeah. So if you're looking for a good loot shooter, what do we call these?
Looter
Looters? Looter shooter?
Yeah, whatever.
If you're looking for one that it just kind of hits a home run out of the gates, I think this is it.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
And it has plenty of content to keep you busy.
Okay, from your 8 hours so far, it seems like it's a deep well that you're digging through here.
You're just scratching the surface of things you can do.
That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.